And everyone's here except Dana. Public comments, since you're part of the public, but you'll be taking part of the meeting. You can have your time later. Approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any additions or changes? I move to approve the agenda.
Support.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the consent agenda is rather long. And we have the minutes from the 3rd. Couple things in that, I think it's easier if I just mention it right now.
Yeah.
The flag, I thought about that, I decided to wait maybe till next year because there's some things that we want to do to make sure we know what we're doing. The crack seal, because what Daniel will talk about with the striping and the extra cost, we decided maybe we'll hold off on the crack seal until later in the fall and decide what to do on that. The next one in the reports, the dog park and Parvo, we'll wait till the commissioner's report to talk about that.
Do you want me to make a note that you're rating it on Parvo?
Yeah, well, Elliot will talk about that when we get to it.
Okay, because that's on our agenda.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay, okay.
I just wanted to comment on a couple of these things. In the minutes from the 24th, Dana talked about the bike trail needs repair by the firehouse.
Mhm.
Between Dana and Daniel and Glenn, they came up with a plan, a reasonable plan, and they went ahead and did it without bringing it to the meeting. And I think that's a good idea, and it's worth taking a second to talk about, because there are a lot of things that we're gonna have to fix, like tree down on the bike trail or something that happens that we have to fix between meetings. And Daniel and Glenn have sort of worked to develop a working relationship. So I'd like you folks to feel comfortable that if something comes up during the month, we know we have to fix it. Just talk to Daniel, we can get Glenn involved, and it can just get done. And it saves us doing it at the meeting. And it seemed like something we couldn't do in the past because our other manager wasn't quite as cooperative. But you know, Glenn. So and it worked fine. And, you know, Elliot, Dana fixed the problem and Glenn fixed the problem with the bike trail and so forth.
Where was that repair? Where was that repair?
The bike trail just
No, where, but you said where on the bike trail was it?
just north of the firehouse.
Okay,
So that's done, and if you go by, you'll see the little berm that routes the water down towards that manhole. Okay, the other thing we'll come back to in the minutes for the 31st has a schedule of things that we want to do and talk about when we talk about the morning. So we can figure that.
But it's on the calendar that.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so those are just my comments for the minutes. So does anybody else have anything as far as the financials, the bills, the donation report?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay. All in favor?
We need a support first.
support.
Okay.
Now.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have to speak up.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
And I'm trusting all of you great on this because since these just are in my hand just now. I'm assuming nobody embezzled $1,000 and we missed it, right?
Okay.
Is that an option? Can I do that? Why would, there's not nearly enough money.
It's true. Okay, that's good.
Okay. Uh, Okay, the next item in the whole business, the first item is the preparation. First item that I'd like to talk about, I gave everyone a copy of the letter that was gonna be from the Parks Commission to the commercial record. And
My steel name is.
it's exactly the way I had written it, except Daniel changed a couple little things.
Okay,
And I would like to have us look at it, approve it. And then the only addition is we're gonna add a little link to where Daniel has set up the information about the millage, the question and answers and so forth. And then you can send it to, you can just add our names and you can forward it to Scott.
Mhm. I don't know offhand what day we said we were gonna mail it to Scott.
So you can-
I guess I could just look at the schedule on the calendar.
Yeah, however, they take. I think it takes them when they get the letter. And ask them not to change it. Sometimes, Scott thinks he's a really
Yes.
good creative writer, and he will take your letter and then proofs it up. And it's a little annoying if he changes what you're trying to say to something else. And anyway. So, and you can add, if we all agree, you can just add our names.
Okay.
I see the letter. Yep, we all agreed to have our names added. Is that what we're doing now?
Sure, absolutely. So. Has everyone had a chance to read it?
If I read it before.
Yeah. It was very
They
good.
would like a motion to adopt the letter, or how do you want to do that, Daniel? Motion to approve
Yeah,
forwarding,
support the letter and
my motion to
Yeah.
support the letter and forward it to the local paper.
Second, all in favor?
I did speak with Bertie Holly. I spoke with Bertie Holly.
Yeah.
And she will certainly write a letter
Okay,
to the commercial record, whether it's published or not. But in favor of this, because she's all about the kids.
okay. And so that's the thing that we want to try and do is space the letters out, because there was another letter writing campaign. And half of them didn't get published, because Scott said, well, I'm only gonna publish one on this topic, because I can't publish 20 of them.
Yeah.
So if we space them out a little bit,
yeah.
so,
And Jean, you're asking Riverwood, right, John?
No, that was gonna be, let's
Ken.
see, Ken was
Okay.
gonna talk to John Vanderbeek and or Chris Clark to write a letter in support of the Parks Village.
Nobody knows who I am.
they will.
Well, if you write it on behalf of Riverwood,
I thought of at least another name for him too.
yeah. Oh, that from Riverwood, that,
No, just a community member who lives in the township,
Mm-hmm. Who?
okay.
Master Sal.
Oh, that would be a
yeah,
good one, yeah. That's a really good one.
They live in the township.
Okay,
Talked
so,
to Vanderbeek, and I think he's coming home today. He was in London.
so
for a-
did he say he'd do it?
Did he get his award?
I don't know.
He'll get me to.
Yes, he did. He went to, oh, I don't know if he won it. I'm sorry, he went to the meeting.
He's a terrible writer.
Yeah, Chris, maybe it makes sense just to ask you directly to make sure a letter comes from Riverwood and,
As long as you keep me honest.
yeah, and
I'm
who,
gonna be kind of here and gone quite a bit between now and. the
you
election.
can write it anytime and we'll just, I think Daniel, were you going to send them? Oh, I guess we need somebody that sends them out at the appropriate times. They could be written at any
Yeah.
time.
Right. Well, that's the question is who do we send, do we send them directly to the newspaper or do we send them to us and then we would control them?
I think to us, and then we can, maybe then we could control the date that it goes out, so people could write those letters anytime, send them, and then we will parcel them out. Maybe
That makes sense,
Mhm.
because I was gonna get a hold of Clark Carbon.
Yes.
Right,
But I haven't done that yet because I
Clark,
didn't,
you had Jim Stoughton,
George
George
Stout.
Stoughton,
Yeah, the Edward Jones guy.
Does Clark live in the township?
He lives south, but
Not far.
we've done so much for them
if they.
Yeah, no, he would be a good person.
that he would be a good person for. And I could get John Adams too, but he was a past president, but I thought they're just going to. Clark.
Yeah, I talked with John and he gets back today. And since you have a letter from the council that he forwards to us for Austin. First.
Oh, I would be, I'm not joking when I say he'll probably ask me to read it,
Okay, good,
Right,
because we've done that several times.
all right, and
Or you can even, if you contact him, you can say Chris said he would help you write it.
how many people does the trail have like on their website? How many people follow you or members or?
The club,
Yeah,
120. And then, the other one, other trail person would be, oh, how come I can't think of his name? The guy that does the Saugatuck trekkers, Frank Lamb,
Oh, I don't know him.
Frank Lamb.
so
He might even live in the township.
but I'm just thinking from the trail master people,
So our mailing list, you mean the council's mailing list?
yeah.
Oh, I think there's we have hundreds of people on
yeah, well,
the mailing list.
So what I'm thinking is that might be one to have just before the election.
And I can write from the club, from the hiking club, rather than
yeah,
Riverwood Council, so it'd be different.
that would be good.
people.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Okay, so Chris, you're gonna do,
So the
for,
best thing to do is give me a date.
okay, but for, the, hiking club, what is it? It's
Radar Hill Hiking Club,
Radar, thank you.
and I will send it to the club too. and
Yes.
ask them. They're not all township, but I could probably tell you how many are, because when they sign up, I ask them where they live.
That's good. Yeah.
Checks would be nice too. Yeah, even small checks.
So if we talk about a date like around the 25th of October, because we had talked about either getting Scott in here for an interview or writing an article for him to publish.
I would say October, I would move it back at least to the 15th, because it's gonna get, it's gonna get very exciting the last 2 weeks with political advertising. I mean, we already have the one. I assume the Dunes Coastal Alliance is going to keep up their full page.
Oh, yeah.
Until any court case, so, there's one giant section of the paper gone. So then all the political ads, the state rep, state senate races, are gonna heat up.
We're talking about letters though, to the
Oh, I
editor,
know,
not
but
advertisements.
But there's only so much that they will include,
Right,
but we can still attach that to our website, that these are letters in support of. So even if they don't get published, we'll have them connected to our cause.
could I step back a minute and suggest that we set a date for all the letters to be sent to Jim? Tell our people, just please send your letter by X date, and then we can parcel out which week they go off. I think if you're saying if you ask for a date, I think it will.
It'll be confusing, yeah. So if we,
I mean, if you ask for different dates and somebody misses their deadline, then you don't get one in that week, and
So October 1st.
yeah, that's,
3 weeks.
right,
the absentee ballots go out at the end of September,
Mhm.
so they're going out this coming week. Oh, how can they?
We don't, I talked to Lori, the township isn't gonna receive them until the 23rd. And then from there, we're responsible for mailing them out. So they'll, I think the 23rd is actually a weekend. So whatever that next week is, that's when the township's gonna start mailing out the absentee ballots, and then you give it a day or two to get to people. So
I think you wanna wait a month to start writing letters to them.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
that gives you like 3 weeks to write, to have letters going, doesn't it, if you ask.
Well,
them.
the thought was to get all the letters in
right,
and
with
then,
and then we're gonna send them out. We need 5, if you'd had 1 a week, then that's basically 5 weeks.
Not if you asked for them October 5th, it's not.
The point is that then 1 letter a week means we need 5 letters.
Right, so you would have to have it at least a week before the commercial record comes
Well,
out.
no, I'm
Look at
saying
it.
all the letters go to Jim,
All right,
and then we will send them out to Scott 1 a week on time to be published in that week's thing
So when is the election? When is
the 8th.
of November.
the 8th?
Yeah.
So the commercial record comes out on Wednesday, which would be,
Comes out Thursday, I believe, but what's the date that Scott needs to
it's
have the
dated
letters?
Thursday, comes out on Wednesday.
well, I believe
Okay.
if it comes out on Wednesday, he has to have the letter like the Friday before.
Okay,
That was just a while ago that because I was trying to write a letter and when I had to have it in to get it published by Wednesday.
That's what
But
I'm
if we do
okay.
exactly what you said, collect the letters,
Mhm.
send them to me, and then once we get them, and we probably won't get them all at once, but once we get them, then we can organize them,
So, yeah.
send them out.
So what you'll probably wanna do is we'll set a date where letters are due, it's 2 weeks, and if people are late, that's fine, as long as
Yeah.
we get some, but the 23rd of September. That's a Friday, and then we can submit them to Scott that next week. And they won't appear until the following week, but if they appear the following week, that gives you 5 weeks.
So our letter's going to be that first one that appears on the 28th, I guess, right, of September. It says press release goes out on September 25. Is the press release different? The press release is different, isn't it, than the letters?
Yeah, the press release was gonna be something, we were gonna try and write
Right,
an article that we would have Scott, like some of the stuff he writes, I think.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
not really be a letter.
yeah,
So we would have to talk to him and say, Scott, here's what we wanna do, are you okay with that? So how do we, I used to go down and visit him when he was in this office down here, just go in his office and BS with him. But I don't know where he is now,
I'll just call them.
just call him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can meet him, you'll call him and
Yeah.
just make an appointment where he comes in here and visits with us.
Yeah, or I don't even think we need to do that, I think that we just come up with our, essentially, we write the article.
And then just tell
And
him,
then he can put his spin on it, we'll give him all the important facts, and
Who do you want the letters to go to?
Scott Sullivan is commercial record.
no, they would go
Oh,
to Jim
Jim.
Jim.
as
Yeah.
chair.
I'll organize the letter and
We were going to send the people who are willing to do it the copy of the fact sheet.
yeah,
So,
I'll come up with some facts that we can send to each other.
bullet points, yeah.
Um,
I'll get mine to you much earlier, because
So-
I'm gonna be on that day.
okay, so on this, we said we would do that by the 25th.
Was that, we finished it by the 25th, or you started on the 25th?
Well, that leads to this other question is, do we want to think about another meeting before our October meeting? Do we want to have a meeting on the agenda? I put it like a lunch meeting on the 21st. Do we want to have a meeting like that? And then we could together go over this thing. I would have this fact sheet sort of done by then. Is that realistic or is that too long in the future? too far in the future.
It's 2 weeks from now. I won't be back until the following
Okay, so you're gone.
Monday, the 26th. Yeah, I'll be gone that, I won't be back until the 20. Actually, it may be the 24th, but that's a Saturday.
Okay, so
But you
maybe,
can do it. I mean, I don't have to be at that meeting.
Wait, when are you suggesting the meeting?
say,
21st.
He was saying the 21st. What is
I
it?
just picked-
21st
I
for
just
lunch.
picked the 21st
Yeah.
because it's 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, and I will not be here from the 20th of September. I come back on the 3rd of October. So,
So maybe what I should do,
Can you cancel it?
no,
let's cross that
I
out.
will good and I cry.
So- And I'm gonna be gone next week for a week, and then
You wanna do it the Monday, the
maybe
19th?
we can.
Well, how would you be on the 19th?
19th might be hairy.
You're leaving the 20th. you
I'm
said.
leaving the
Yeah.
20th and I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of stuff on the 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah,
I'm leaving on the 20th.
yeah. I mean, I could do something next week. I could look at the 19th.
Well, do you want to? I'm gone next week. This is, yeah, everybody's saving their vacation till the fall. I didn't realize we were doing the village stuff. Well, let's see. Why don't I try and get this thing written? I'll write it next week while I'm gone, and then, I come back on whatever that Saturday is.
Saturday is the 17th.
Yes, yes. And then I will send it out. And Jane, you're gone from,
I will probably be able to read it online, but yeah, I'll be, I mean, if you send it out, I may be able to read it.
Okay.
Depends whether I.
yeah, we
Wi-Fi.
can do a lot of stuff online.
Yeah.
Jim, I don't know if you have to reinvent the wheel because Dana put together that whole.
There's a fact sheet all ready to go.
I mean, I can show you what I've been working on. I don't know if this is the time.
Okay, maybe what we ought to do is do that before we commit, because the stuff is already out there. you know.
Yeah.
The
Is
other,
there a website there?
This is what I wanted to.
Yeah.
Show you all. Because my assignment was to do this by today. So if you go to, this is our homepage. This big. This is our homepage. You go to departments and there is a Parks and Trails millage.
Oh,
So this is like kind of a brief introduction and then they have the key documents and we can add to this, but like-
click on the fact sheet for a second if you would.
so this was a small feat on my part. Like this is all coded. So it's all a drop down screen.
Oh, I see. So people click on the question.
Yeah, and then if you want it to go back up, you just click on the question, it goes back up. But yeah, this is the fact sheet. Made all pretty like.
So then probably we just need to ask our letter writers, give them the link for if you email them and ask them to do things, give them the link for the fact sheet and they can get it right there. I was thinking of that, is that pretty fact sheet, that pretty one pager that he put together, is that already on
The
the
infographic.
info? Thank you, yes.
Village infographic.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Because that, I mean, if people have that in their hand to write their letter, that
Right,
might be easier.
right.
We're gonna print that out too.
Do you want feedback,
Sure.
Daniel,
On what?
on the infographic?
Sure.
I'll give it to you later.
Okay.
Well, he didn't, yeah, and Daniel didn't do the infographic. That was Dana. Dana did it.
Did he do this one?
Yes,
Dana did this one.
Oh, okay.
and he took it from somebody else's.
No, I saw the
thing.
original. Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did?
we went to, yeah, it's from Kentwood, city of Kentwood.
Kentwood or Lake Town, I think it was Kentwood.
Yeah, it's Kentwood. And then I just I changed the colors of the pictures a little bit and messed with it's just a light editing. I changed this from the color to the all white. But it's on the website now, and then the Millage language is on the website too. So this is what people are actually voting on.
Well done.
Yeah.
Is there a paper copy of that infographic still?
We can print one.
I'd like, because I'm doing that radio thing Sunday morning.
Yeah, he needs it.
Yep.
We all need it actually, but I can print it, I could print my own at home, but you need it for sure. You're doing it Sunday morning?
Sunday morning, yep.
Wonderful, let's see, so Sunday morning, at what time?
8 o'clock.
Sunday, the 10th, that's 11th, I mean. Sunday the 11th.
So it sounds like Scott could just reference that.
If you wanted to, or we could be more,
I think,
Would it be better if we condensed it into sort of like an article
yeah,
and then gave that to him?
write it as a press release. Dana, we talked about this last time, that Scott's more likely to take it and use it if it's actually already written up as a press release.
Yeah, okay. So why don't I do that? I'll take that, write something like a press release, and then forward it to everybody. And then you can critique it or add or do whatever we want to.
Okay.
Do.
just so you know, the way that we built the schedule at the previous meeting, we said that we wouldn't submit the article until the 25th of October.
Mhm.
So there is time.
Right, yeah. Right.
I mean, that could
Might
change
wanna go
Or it says or
more.
sooner, I think we want before that.
before that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would go because, you know, like I said, you're gonna have that last crush of people spending money on the election. And we don't know what's gonna happen in the city of Saugatuck because they have, what, 8 people running for 4 positions or 6 for 3.
Yeah,
But they have a full ballot.
but they're not gonna vote on
There's-
this.
yeah.
No, but they'll be advertised.
Oh, I see.
Paper.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of letters supporting different candidates.
Right,
That's the other thing that happened last time. There were a whole bunch of letters, and a lot of them didn't get published.
So sooner might be better to start publishing stuff. Just because you know that we're gonna compete and it's likely that we could get bumped.
Right, and if we got the signs out, then people would, because right now, people don't realize what's going on.
Mhm.
So once we had the signs out, if we had that in, then they would be aware of it. So maybe you're right, maybe we should shoot for
October 15th or something like that.
sometime in the next couple of weeks. Get that written.
Help me understand. What is it that the people who work for the township, or this group can't do? I mean, you've set up a website that's basically informational, it's not,
Mhm, mhm.
I mean, what is it that you couldn't do?
We can't say vote for this.
We can't say vote
We can
yes.
say consider, but we can't say vote for this. So we can give information, we can direct people towards information, we can talk about what Parks is doing, what they've done, what they will do, but we can't literally say the words vote yes. That's kind of the boundary.
Can I do that on the radio show or no?
No, you can only say consider this.
Consider, okay.
We would really like if you could consider this and you give them all the, everything that, you've done and will do and all that good stuff, but you just can't say,
But I can say.
but you
Yes,
can
you
say
can,
whatever you want to
absolutely.
say, yeah.
Right. And you could, I think you could say, I hope you'll consider this. I'm voting yes.
Yeah,
As an
I
individual,
think you could say that.
probably could say that as an individual, I'm voting
Right.
yes.
so what about, I mean, if you want letters and you want letters that you can share with people, can you put those on the website?
Probably not.
So I thought at one point, the idea was you would have a separate website that would be, the yes website, but I think it's probably too ambitious to try that.
I think that was the fear that like it'd be nice to have it, but it might be too ambitious. That's why we were thinking that if we kind of utilize or leverage like existing like community groups and their like mailing lists, that might be better, because then they can tell these people to say yes and share their letters that way. I can ask Tom Page if we can have a section that says like community letters.
Mhm.
and saying that, I can ask him and then we can,
Well, what if somebody wants to make a website?
oh,
That would
someone
be
can make a
fine.
website, yeah.
But, yeah, and
What if
direct
someone
people
were to
there.
donate a website as someone's contribution to the,
We
That,
would,
yeah,
we
Yeah,
would
for
more
them.
than welcome that person.
but would it help? Would it be worth it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Then you'd have to make sure that people found the website.
And then you're competing with the information that's there.
And you probably couldn't tell people to go to the website.
No,
So then it sort of defeats the purpose in a way.
And see, Dana
Because of the
talked
time.
about, well, right, that's the problem, is how do you get people to go there? And Dana talked about Facebook and how a lot of people for the school bond thing, they would put information on Facebook, but I don't know whose Facebook page or how you pass information.
that's not that hard to make a Facebook page that says, yes, parks and trails. And then we can post the community letters there.
So one of you guys couldn't do that, probably couldn't set up that page.
No, I mean, I could as an individual and, because I think right now we're saying
It would be cleaner.
the
if you
four of
did.
us are on the committee.
I'm not-
We just don't do it in our official capacities. So we're individuals
But
doing it.
that would be a place where you could post those letters,
Yeah,
whether the community, record post has them or not.
That's right.
it's true.
And we also thought about, like we all belong, a lot of us belong to certain different Facebook groups. And we thought we could post on our own personal Facebook pages, links, or I'd like to post that information, the info sheet.
Mhm.
Information sheet.
That might be a better way to do it. And then you still have it and
Yeah,
people can share it.
if you're getting to the local Facebook pages. I know I look at one that's like Saugatuck Fenville. And, I just have to clear it with the host.
Mhm.
But like, if you get to that, you're probably getting as much penetration as you're gonna get with any individual website.
Yes, more.
But what would be cool to do there would be to have a strategy for what you wanna put there. Like, here's what other people have done with villages, and here's one thing that could happen if we got this, we could, what's the word, maximize it by taking advantage of funding that you can get if you have money to
Mhm.
start with.
Yeah,
What's that called?
leverage.
Leverage it, thank you. My brain is old.
Yeah, we could do all of that.
Well, we had, so in September 22nd, we talked about e-blasting mail to residents with the letter and the infographic,
Mhm.
okay? And that comes out of this office, though, it's just that okay. Are we ready for that? Is that ready to go then?
Yeah, I mean, you approved this letter, so we would do that. I would have Morgan send it out on the 21st. Or
Okay.
whatever date we set for that,
It's set for the 22nd.
22nd or 21st?
22nd is
So
what it
this
says
is,
here.
that would be an official email blast from the township with the township's letter saying we're doing this, not saying,
Mhm.
no, not saying vote yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So you're saying that this e-blast that goes out could include this letter? We might-
It would include that
Yeah,
letter.
we wrote it, so we might as well.
And the
use it.
infographic and all that, so that's,
That and the infographic.
how many people receive that?
Under 500.
I think if you have that and then the local Facebook pages, plus the political signs out.
Yeah.
In the yards. I think you just about covered what can be done without going over the top and pissing people off.
Mhm.
People are gonna be sick of signs in 2 weeks.
Ours is a happy sign.
Yeah, ours is a good sign.
I know that ours is happy sign, I'm thinking all the rest of them, they're gonna be loaded up on all.
Mhm.
So the Facebook pages, if that's gonna have the infographic, so we all need to.
So the four of us should get together independently and talk about it.
What, the Facebook pages?
Cause that wouldn't be the township.
No, I'm, right, individually, we would be doing that.
Oh, I see,
And, yeah.
So I would suggest a Facebook,
yeah,
I don't know what you call it, group.
yeah, page, group, yeah.
See, I've stopped participating in Facebook, I know you can do this,
Mm-hmm,
but there's whatever they call it.
mm-hmm,
The thing that you have for a community project, that they change their terminology every now and then.
mm-hmm,
And then people should then link to that, because that would be the sort of central place where there would be stuff going on. So if you wanted to share with your friends, say, hey, this is something you need to know about, there's lots of good
Mhm.
information, you can follow this page and get all this stuff.
So
mhm.
what we do is that we say, all right, on such and such a day, Jane's gonna post this article, and we know that she's going to do that, and we're one of the first ones to comment on it. That this sounds great, and then you come on, it's like, I can't wait to see what our township will look like. So in other words, so when people click
Your
on her
comments.
posting, and if we have the comments that are coming in positive right away,
Mm-hmm,
that way we probably stem the tide of anybody who's going to try to think they're gonna be negative.
mm-hmm.
But
Or-
each of us, point is that each of us does it on our own personal Facebook page.
Right.
We could do it on the Yes Parks and Trails
You do it
page.
you do it from your account,
Yes,
but you comment on this group page.
So that
oh,
we create our own Facebook page called Yes Parks and Trails. And then we can utilize that, we have to get people to follow it, and then we utilize that platform to like promote, either community letters or articles about grant opportunities or things the Parks Commission is doing, all that kind of stuff.
And then it becomes like a repository of stuff,
Yeah,
mhm.
letters, cool things.
and then people can really express like, yeah, vote for this, as opposed to our very careful, consider this.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense, but I'm also thinking that how that gets to many, many more people is when people take that and make, as you say, make the link or something to their own Facebook page, because and is
They
there gonna
share
be
it.
control over this? Is there anybody gonna control what messages get posted?
You have,
So we would be the owners of this Facebook page?
If you're
set
the
it up.
administrator, you can control it.
you can
Right.
moderate it.
Yeah, so one of us would be the moderator of this Facebook
Delete the
page.
naysayers.
Hmm?
Delete
Because,
the
well,
naysayers.
that's what I'm saying.
You set up rules.
Yeah. Okay, well, it sounds great. It's not
No-
me,
no
that's not my
people.
skill.
Let's see, it's not mine either, so I'm depending.
So who's gonna do this thing?
So-
Lucky bastard.
I know.
You guys are familiar with, I mean, I have a Facebook page.
Chris and I can get together and work
Look
on
at
it,
stuff.
unless anybody else wants to
I
join.
don't
No,
know.
I'm gonna make sure that every check goes in and our filing, we're not gonna get in trouble with the county.
Okay, that works for me. So we'll pick a day and get together and do the Facebook page. It's not really
And then let us
something, I
know when
can't
it's
really
there.
have Morgan do it.
Well,
I'll do it, I'll work with Chris
Why
on it,
can't you?
because she shouldn't be working on non-township business.
That is township.
No, that's the point, it's not township
Okay.
business.
Because it's gonna be absolutely yes, not considered.
Exactly.
Right, it's yes parks.
So, since the name of our thing is yes to parks and trails.
Mhm.
And Jim ends his letter simply stated, the STPC needs more funding to preserve natural public spaces. We want to say, quote, yes to parks and trails. So and this is coming from us this is the letter that was gonna come from us.
Is that the old one?
But that's why it
Yes,
says at
you-
the end,
yes, that's
we
the old.
want you to consider the.
I edited it.
Oh, okay, I didn't get the new
I
copy.
got my hands on
So
it.
we want to say, please consider.
Yeah, that's it simply stated STPC needs more funding to preserve natural public areas, but then I say we want Saugatuck Township residents to consider the proposed Parks and Trails village.
Okay,
Yeah, so that's on this copy that I gave you. That's a revised copy.
you gave me, oh, it's sitting there. I see it. Okay,
Yeah,
all
so that,
right, got it.
because
All right,
Can we get that digitally too?
The letter?
Well, will you put it on the page?
Oh, yeah, I'll put it on the page.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll add that to the Facebook page. I mean, you know what I mean. website.
The township's website, because that's an official letter and.
That is an official
It's cool.
letter. I'll put it on letterhead and everything. And I'll probably have, maybe you can sign it, Jim, but I'll have all the commissioners.
Yeah, put all our names.
I'll put all your names,
Yeah.
but I'll have Jim like,
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
here's another thought. What about an ad in the commercial record with signatures? Like a full page thing and get everybody
Yeah.
who wants to put their name on it to sign, and you put it, have a full big, is that worth doing?
that, I mean, that's probably something that we can get together. That's what I'm saying, like, we should meet separately and think about all the things that we could do that are not. That planning, Parks Commission can't do.
So that's something that we can ask John and say, how many members of the committee would allow us to use their name on a letter of endorsement?
Well, I think you have to ask.
Huh?
I think you have to ask.
Yeah,
But, yeah, I mean. I mean, you, obviously, the people that you're gonna ask to write letters, if they're residents, you want township residents.
yeah.
And those people, you ideally want names that people will recognize.
Yeah,
John Vanderbeek's already asked for 4 signs.
Yeah, we
You
have
know,
to sign residents.
You know, I don't think,
Township.
I don't think you have to say that because people in the cities use our parks, use the township parks. And these are just saying, we really support this park. I don't think you want, I think you want movers and shakers in the tri-communities area.
and
And
that's why I thought Clark, what's his name, Clark Carmichael, because he's well known with the bike trail, and the bike trail has been in the township,
mhm,
and we agreed, that's how it came here in the first place.
right,
How about president of the Rotary?
yeah,
How
yeah,
about-
we've got him.
we have Jepson,
How about the
Daniel is asking him.
Convention and Visitors Bureau,
oh, Lisa Mize,
maybe,
yeah,
Can you, Tom, who knows her?
I know,
Okay.
we can,
yeah, we can ask her.
Who is-
and people that, who, if they say it and they're, from the position they're in. You know, it will carry weight, whether, even if people don't know them.
Yeah,
So what I have so far is Jim is going to ask Chris Rorick and not George Stoughton, or yes, George Stoughton.
Yes.
Okay, and then you added another name?
Clark Carmichael, he's a president of the Blue Star Trail Group. Most of those guys live south of town,
Okay,
but
that's you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ganges.
and who's gonna ask Pastor Sal?
I can ask.
Okay. And what is the date? So does everybody have their person? Elliot has Bertie Holly.
Yeah.
Ken, you're gonna work with Chris Clark and Riverwood.
He's a jerk.
And okay, so we have all those people.
mhm.
And what is the date that we decided the letters need to be written?
I think September 23rd, because
Letters
you'll get
to
some early, you'll get some late, but that
Jim
gives you enough time to
Steering.
stagger.
But they'll be addressed,
So you need to
To
give him,
Jim.
yes, I think you
Yeah.
need to send him
yes, to my email address.
to which one? To the town,
Well, no,
to your personal?
yeah,
Okay,
So to whom should the letter be addressed?
To the commercial record, it's a letter to the editor.
dear editor.
Jim, do we have your personal?
Or, I mean, you could say, dear township, Saugatuck Township residents, even, it could be addressed.
You could.
Email. Yeah,
Jim?
do you wanna give
Your
us,
personal email address?
Yeah, it's just Jay Searing, that's what stuff, I exchange. JSEARING@I2K.com. That's the one we,
at which place are you?
I2K, it's
Numeral
yeah,
two,
small I, number 2K. I think they started in the year 2000 or something.
at .com or org.com.
I'll send you guys all something. That's the one I usually remind you of the parks meeting from, although I did not do it this.
And I'm sorry to,
So they're all
just to get the date down, you said what date? September what?
23rd.
Okay. And the people who are, the people who are going to get these things asking, we're going to also send them the infographic direct, why not just put it as an attachment?
Well, you can actually send, so whoever your person is, just send them the link to the township website page. Cause then they'll have the
Okay.
proposal, they'll have the infographic, they'll have the QAF. They'll have Jim's letter. Or the Parks Commission letter, I should say.
Okay, link to the website page, the township. To township. Okay, and if you're sending them a link, you can send them the link directly, not just to the township page, but right to that space in it.
Yep.
And that would be better. So do you want to just send that?
Link to everybody?
Yeah,
Sure.
just send the link to everybody
Sure.
and email, and then you'll be able to send that on. Okay.
I'm just asking Sal,
Yeah, I just have you doing Sal, well, yeah, and
and I'll help.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
take the two of us.
Yeah. 2 of us,
He's-
okay.
He'll jump on it.
Was
You
anybody
probably
going
send it out
to,
to his.
you know
orbit,
who else?
too.
We had somebody else, and that was the cross-country.
I talked to the coach, and he's on board, he'll get busy with.
Get him to write a letter.
Yeah,
but,
Is he gonna write the letter? I'm gonna ask him. for it. I mean,
he'll-
you could write it
Well,
for him.
actually, I'm hoping next week to go in and talk to
I don't know.
the athletics director
Rick?
with him.
Rick
Okay, but
Power.
Bauer.
so if you went in with just bullet points for what they could include,
That's why I'm gonna have the info sheet.
okay, so I do have you doing one other person.
So I got Vanderbeek and Coach Power.
Coach Bauer.
So I know Scott, the guy that's director of the community schools recreation thing.
Kiersick?
Scott, yeah, I could go talk to him.
Well, then we'll do it together.
Well, it's a different person than the athletic
Would that
director.
confuse people?
It might. And they might be territorial about their own village.
They're doing a millage too, remember?
They're doing a
Okay,
renewal.
maybe not a good idea.
Yeah, maybe we
You
can
know what, let me start with the coach. because-
start with the coach.
That's
Yeah.
just a letter from the coach.
Because he's got more skin in the game,
Yeah.
literally.
Okay, all right. And we're gonna emphasize in their own words, and, yeah. Okay, is that, so I think we got that, the
Oh, and
letters.
Frank Lamb.
Frank Lamb. Who was gonna contact Frank Lamb?
Lamb or lamb?
Lamb, Lamb.
I don't know.
I guess I better.
And you know him because of, through what?
He does the Saugatuck Trekkers.
Oh, sorry, okay,
And they hike like 3 or 4 times a week. People who hike know him.
okay. I know him, but I was dear friends with his parents. But Frank and I are on a very different political spectrum, but I don't know. I don't know whether he would respond favorably to me.
I think he likes me.
Good, good. Don't talk politics.
Okay. I can't talk politics with my daughter anymore.
Really interesting. Okay,
Or my son-in-law. Okay.
Yeah.
all right, so I think I'm getting it, this will all be in the minutes.
So do you feel good you've got a good list of?
I do. I can put that all in the minutes. Elliot is now, instead of October, in September, he's going to be on the radio. Yay.
He told me not to swear too much,
Not to swear too
not
much.
to swear too much, you know.
I haven't known you as a big swearer.
Oh, gosh.
He says, gosh. Okay. I believe you.
Have you talked to, do you know? What's his name, the guy from Coral Gables, the guy that does the radio, is that the show you're gonna be on?
Well, no, they actually don't do that show anymore, not on, I don't know, they got booted. This was and is Greg Muncie's show.
Gregory.
7 to 9.
Gregory Muncie. But since he's running for office, he can't do the show anymore. So they're doing kind of a rotating group of hosts.
Okay.
And I happen to know the lady who's doing it this week. I put some security cameras in her store. And I said, put me on. I'm funny and charming. Okay.
And modest.
And modest and humble. And great looking.
And that's important on the radio.
It is very, very important.
Because you can
He
tell
has a
them.
face for radio.
Yeah. We'll see how long I last. They've got me in an 8 o'clock slot. I think depending on how many people she's got,
Maybe improve our video.
10, 15 minutes. You know, half an hour, I don't know. I guess it depends on how funny and charming I can.
Lot of coffee that day, buddy.
Okay, and Commissioner.
Okay.
Where did I write that down?
And we'll come back to this question of whether we think we need another meeting before the
October.
of October.
Okay.
And so. So are we ready to move on? That's the question.
When will you have the letter and other stuff up on the page?
This week, early next week.
There were other things on this that we haven't addressed. I'm just curious whether the signs are coming along. We supposedly there might be some signs available already on September 19th.
He ordered them.
Yes, yeah, he told me
Right.
there would be. Yeah, he said they'll come in batches of 20, he thinks. So hopefully by the 19th, we'll have 20 of them. Or more than that. He didn't know, but that's what he thought. So then, I guess what I will do, I'll send everybody an email and say the signs are in. We'll keep them here
Okay,
and then,
I don't think we can keep them here. I think would that put the township in a problem?
Possibly, I mean, yeah, it probably should be somebody's house. I mean,
okay,
it doesn't matter, I mean, I can have them, I don't,
I mean, I live that far down at the other end of town, down near the whatnot. I mean, I could have them at my house. But
are we, is the committee gonna ask for donations for the signs?
We are right now.
well,
I would hope so.
Yeah, right,
that's-
cause then we could actually start that now, like the campaign committee could start a list of people who. Are interested in signs for like, I don't know, like a
Yeah.
$10-15.
Does the campaign committee
ask for
have a-
$20 don, and they
Have a
cost
bank account?
$11.
Uh-huh, these are, yeah,
Yeah, we do.
Already did it, but
Good man.
we are registered. I got my first statement from Macatawa Bank. We
And how-
exist.
you got a
does one-
donation right there.
How does one donate?
Write a check.
Yes,
What's a
pardon?
check?
Yes.
Well, you know, get
A
what you
check
old
is what
times.
your old treasurer can handle.
We do not have a donate button
No
if that's what you're asking.
No PayPal. I
Okay,
will resign immediately and hand it to you.
How about
No
cash?
problem.
signs will be,
Cash,
signs,
gotcha.
so the thing we
I
were,
suppose I could do cash. I just have to note it.
the people who pick, I'll be out of town at the time the first signs come in, but we were going to try to make sure that the signs, first signs especially were placed in strategic places. So we need a couple along Blue Star, probably, you know.
I live in a fairly heavily trafficked intersection,
Yeah,
62nd and 126.
But people go like 90 miles an hour down that.
Yeah, I know,
ours is easy to read, they'll see it.
right on the corner there.
Yeah, so just making sure that when you're gonna just send us an email when they're available, right?
When they're in, what we'll do is we'll take a drive down Blue Star and just pound on doors and see who can.
How much are they gonna cost?
They cost $11 each,
So what if you ask people for $20
yeah.
for a sign?
Yeah,
Or if they're just in a really prime location, we just ask them, can we put one of our signs here?
well,
I think
I mean,
that,
most people who are gonna support it are not gonna balk if you ask them for $20, I would
$20.
think. You think?
no,
well, a couple people down at my end of Blue Star. You know, I can put the signs there. I hadn't thought about asking them.
Well, let's see how Vanderbeek does with the money coming in. If we cover the signs, as long as the people who have lent money to this
Yeah.
expedition,
yeah,
we don't have to make money.
It would be nice if somebody sent the graphic to Scott at the Commercial Record and say, you know, have you seen these around town? This is what they are is they're supporting this, and it could just be a little picture in the Commercial Record
we can do
without an
that, we
article.
can send that,
Well, the other thing we're gonna get to it, which is the next part of our whole business is, Hebner came in with a great bid for cutting the trails for us. And what I wanna do is have a picture, with your permission, I wanna say, Glenn, as soon as you can get in there and start cutting these trails, I wanna make sure I have a picture of that bobcat cutting the trail and make sure we give you the credit. For the fact that you're doing this work and part of it's donated to the township. But that gives me parks and exposure.
Donation,
And the fact that Glenn is donating his time, he gets some ink out of this, but we get Saugatuck Township Trail in front of their mind, in front of the voter's mind, however you do it. You know, you're like, oh yeah, I heard, I just saw something about that, yeah, okay, that's all I need, just
Mhm.
that little tipping point.
Well, and Glenn would put up a sign in front of his place.
Oh, yeah, he'll have to, yes, of course.
There's not a lot of
Is somebody
traffic.
gonna help him do that, just to be sure that he
Oh,
knows?
no, I'll go over and plan it, and I'll do the same thing with Lakeside, a little further down from him.
Yeah.
Lake Shore,
Okay,
I mean, John would probably help with that too, if you wanted him to.
Sometimes the Rotary donates to these kind of things, don't they?
Yeah, the Rotary could, the UCC Church could, there are various groups that would donate, yeah.
so,
And Edward Jones might, I could ask George, you know, they donate, but I don't know whether they donate to political.
Community.
this isn't really political, this is like community
it's,
action.
well, it's not, it is political, but
It
it's
is.
not,
It's a
Or
ballot.
it's not partisan.
Not partisan.
So they might, you know, like they might support a school bond or something like that.
Yeah, I would say it's probably safe, but I don't know.
Real
Yeah.
estate group might even do it,
It's true.
Coldwell Banker, Century 21, because parks increases property value. I mean, they might be a fan of it, I don't
Yeah,
know.
right, the dune rights.
Doing nice, right.
I'll tell you the one I cannot call Andrea Crossman.
That's fine.
Okay, the next thing on this list, from our old business was, that we haven't talked about, let's see.
Thank you, Chris.
Going door to door,
That's a campaign, I think that's a committee question.
okay, so just it's there for the committee to look at. Okay,
Good luck, boys and girls.
Thank you.
thanks for being here.
Yes, thanks.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's, yeah, as I'm looking at the minutes from August 31 on that,
Do they
takes
do,
care of the millage.
if I was gonna take your info sheet and make like the flyer that came from, where would you send me for printing that?
Sisters in Ink,
And let's go there.
yeah, or sure printer, share printer,
Do they print in-house here?
wait, so, I don't know.
Cause I ordered some business cards from them, it took forever, so
I
maybe.
mean, I could go to just run into Holland to Staples or,
Yeah, that's my thing, just to hand it to them and get copies made.
yeah,
Um,
front and back,
Mhm.
rather than burn through all my ink.
yeah, that's it. It's not free.
Yeah, not paper.
When you do it at home, it's cheaper to pay something
I
like.
wonder if you could put that up like at the Mons bulletin board, something.
Well, yeah, we could do that, but I'm thinking about having like a one-page flyer that,
Yes,
that I decide, okay, this evening I'm gonna go walk this neighborhood. And,
Oh, and just put it in people's mailbox.
yeah, just knock on the door. I'm from the Parks and Trails Committee, and this is, I want you to consider this.
yeah, oh, yeah, yes, okay, yes, right, I just, so you weren't from the
I
commission.
want you to consider this, will be on the ballot. And, if you have any questions, let me know, and they'll say like, get the hell off my porch and.
Well-
Go on the
Cocks the
next one.
shotgun.
The copies of the information sheet, I don't believe have a political thing on them, do they? Those actually could come out of our own budget. I don't know how much it costs to get like 300 of them printed up at
That
Staples.
should be paid for by the,
It doesn't have to be the
committee.
campaign. It does not, because it's the info sheet that's on the website. It's,
I know, but I would, if we could cover it through the
Okay.
campaign, I think that would be cleaner.
it's cleaner. Yep, okay.
Cause otherwise I have to consider it as an additional contribution to the campaign.
Mhm.
If it's township business, the library will do things for 10 cents a copy. If if it's,
Mhm.
you know, I think it's, might be more. If
But
it's-
so it'd be 10 cents a page, cause I wanna do it on both sides.
Yeah, but it's only a one-page thing. You don't need both sides.
I'm saying ideally, when I hand it out, I would love to have. One standard sheet of paper
Yes.
printed on both sides.
Why?
Um,
It's the exact, it's only one page long.
I know, but you could just have the. I can do it on one page, I would,
I mean, it's a one-page thing. Oh, well,
Okay,
okay, Jim.
okay. Um,
so do you want to call Staples with you? I think it depends how many, if you're getting 500 or 400, 300, it's probably gonna be less than 10 cents a page.
Mhm.
I bet.
Yeah, I'll find
see,
it.
I don't know if we have to pay him when we first start receiving the signs, whether he'll want another $600.
I don't know, I'll drop Daniels in there and, hopefully, Vanderbeek will come up with some donations for us.
Okay.
So you're gonna get copies then and we'll have them before. It's better beginning of October or something to do something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so are we ready to
Go on.
Mhm.
I think so.
Um,
Ken mentioned it briefly.
Yeah, and, we got the quote from Glenn, I think it's great. I have no problem, making a motion to approve it and include the donation that he has, graciously, offered us.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're still on the, I don't see that. Are we following the agenda here? or not?
Yeah.
Yes, so it's,
We did the millage,
Mhm.
dog park, it's only, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Right,
so
okay,
it should be
right.
the last page on
Got
the
it.
packet.
I got it.
So the first of that is the, cost of cutting the trail, will net out to $2,100. I would move that we approve that, sure.
Support. Okay, and it's, let's look here.
Yeah, we'll get to that one next.
Okay, repair offensive.
Okay, she got it, we've
Oh, I see it,
motioned to
okay.
approve it,
Yep,
Okay,
and we now say all in favor.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so you will talk to Glenn.
I will call Glenn
Get
when
him
he's on the way home.
Okay. The next item is a security at Riverbrook. And you don't have a copy, but you saw them. Did you see the copies of lights at Riverbrook? Did not. Lori got two copies or two estimates.
RAF.
One's for about 3,000 and one's for 6,000. It's sort of steep. And it's probably something we don't want to decide right now.
and this is for lighting.
Yeah, that's for lighting. One of them's a solar. And that's the $3,200 or $3,500 one.
37 here.
$37.50 for the
Yep.
solar
Yeah.
and $65.50 for hardwire.
Yep.
And Elliot, I know you do this, so would you like to review this for the next month?
Happy to.
All right, so I would move to postpone this or table this.
I don't even think you need to make a motion.
No,
All right, so we'll just.
Yeah,
just say table.
Yeah, Elliot is gonna come back to it in your
I'll
next
just say
meeting.
reported, the security update for Riverbuck reported.
Okay,
Okay. The next item is bike trail striping. And I'll let Daniel talk about that.
I made this little, I mean, you don't have to vote on it today, but I did make this little memo for you. David Eiley called me and was concerned that the bike trail is not well marked in front of his business. And wanted to stripe it, and he actually went ahead and striped it at his own cost, which is really kind of him. But there are two other locations that are kind of similar. One's the the dunes rides, another one is Dairy Days, where you have the trail going across a parking lot. So I got a quote from someone to put that fancy Endura paint, the green paint that you see in Douglas. The quote came back at $50,000, so I called someone else. And
You
this,
got out your paintbrush.
so this other person at
If I may interrupt.
Yeah.
What makes it worth $50,000? Is it the paint itself?
it's the paint itself. Yeah, and there's only certain only a few vendors actually have access to the paint.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, if you ever wondered what happened to that radium they used to paint,
There you go.
they bought it all.
Where it is in the thing.
So I got another bid just to do striping, white paint striping, and that was $600, and they would do Dairy Days and they would do dunes rides.
That's not bad.
And then the other thing that, you know, David Eiley brought up were perhaps signs. So I found these two signs. One says bike stop, the other one say bike slow down, and we could have them on either side.
Cyclists will never stop.
Okay, well, what about
They
slow
do
down?
not stop for anything.
But they know what a stop sign looks like.
They know what it looks like and they go, oh, look, a stop sign if they cycle past.
Well, that means the car has to stop.
Yeah.
They go through traffic lights,
Yes.
downtown
Mhm.
Saugatuck, you know, at the flashing red light, people just drive their bike straight through it.
Mhm.
You don't understand, Jim. They're on vacation, okay? Rules don't apply.
Yeah. Like the motorcycle.
Okay,
It's funny, so-
that's great.
Yeah.
So then, did you say to go ahead and do it? Did you?
No,
Or do we-
there's certain things that, you know, are immediate.
Mhm.
That it's like, if there's a tree down, I kind of say just do.
Right.
And then this, it was something I just felt that wasn't necessarily immediate that you all should review.
So would you do it before, we're into September. Snow will fly late November, and the paint will take a beating through the winter. Is it worth it to do it now? And I guess where I'm asking this as a committee, is it worth it to stripe it now? Cause Dairy Days is gonna close in a month.
I'm curious to see how it holds up. If it's $600, and like what happens if we invest in like a higher quality paint next year? Like, do we want to know what happens to it?
So I'll make a motion to go with the striping. We've got the 900 to spend.
Do you want the signs as well, or do you want just the striping?
I would go with just the striping, I think.
Just the stripe.
Okay.
They're gonna pay a bit of attention.
You know, but I do, and when I'm riding with my grandchildren, they do. If I do pay attention to signs on those, especially if you're on a bike trail, because people pulling out and backing out, and that's the most dangerous thing of all.
Especially at Dairy Days. We've picked up many people down in the middle of the road there when people pulled out of Dairy Days.
Oh, and so I'd like to go for the signs. I really would. At least then, this is not the most important thing, but you're covered because you said there were stop signs there and you didn't stop. You know, if they turn around and try to sue us for.
Do you want a stop sign or do you want cyclists slow down? And it's like a yellow kind of yield sign thing.
It seems like to remind them, because like
That's, you know,
today, I rode by twice, the dune rides, nobody there. And Dairy Days was real quiet too. Now Dave's is busy all the time, and he's got cars parked all over and they're moving them around and so on and so forth.
Like it, cause they're pulling into Dave's and they're pulling into the Napa store. I just,
Right. And
Jane,
people
I
are
don't
always
like to
pulling in there now.
disagree with you,
you
but.
don't want any
And
sign.
and you are exceptional, because
that's
you've
not the
actually,
point. That's- How
but
much are the signs?
300, I mean, it's not that much money, I'm just,
300 for both,
huh?
300 for both.
300 for 6 signs.
Oh, 6?
And that includes the sign and a special laminate that goes over it. It doesn't include the installation cost, but Glenn didn't charge us that much for the installation of the stop sign, so. It's, I don't know, maybe another $100-200.
I mean, if it saves somebody from getting.
Slow
whacked,
down,
it's-
but yeah, maybe slow down because you're, The place where I've come to stop signs on bike trails is when you're gonna cross a road. And you have a stop sign. Do we have those on these bike trails?
We have one stop sign, it's,
One at
Vandal?
North Street, isn't there?
yeah, there's a few of them, we do have a few.
Okay.
And they are at exactly what you're saying, they're at actual street crossings,
Mhm.
where this is not a street crossing, it's
Right.
more of a warning.
And often
Well, we can
people-
Warning,
vote.
sugar high ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna move that we go ahead and do the striping and the sign. Well, we did the striping. You put this striping.
Well,
This,
he supported the striping.
I did,
yeah, so we should vote on that.
unless you wanna go with how Daniel spells it, stripping.
Irish stripping.
I am
Oh,
not
I
in-
did write.
I am not in.
Two P. No bike
I'm
trails.
sorry, everyone. Striping,
Put
yeah.
it in road, yeah, and who's
He
doing
obviously stayed up a little late with Netflix.
Okay, bike trail, striping high traffic areas, Ken and Elliot, okay?
Okay, so
We can vote on that and then come back to the signs, because people may or may not support it, but I'm gonna put a motion for signs.
okay, so we have a motion, a
Yeah.
second on the striping.
Yes, we
So,
did.
All
Ken,
in favor?
aye.
Aye, okay. The signs, do we want to go ahead and, is $300 for
6 signs.
6 signs? Okay. So, in my opinion, at least, if you save somebody from getting hit, it's worth it, you know?
Mhm.
The problem that I see is when people are turning, they're coming out, they're turning right. They look right, but they don't look left, and people in the bikes are coming from and I've almost hit people on their bikes because they see me stop, I look the way I'm turning. And then I go, and suddenly this guy is in front of me on a bike. And they don't stop, like you said, they just keep going. And it's frustrating, but I'm okay with the signs, I mean.
All right, I'll support it because I was actually hit once on a bike and crushed the windshield,
Yeah.
so,
Right.
I'll tell you the story sometime.
Okay, Jim moved and
I support it for
Okay.
300.
Okay, all in favor of the signs,
Aye.
okay, so we'll do
Have we decided what it's gonna be?
I think
Stop sign
I
or-
think the slow down makes
Slow
sense
down?
for those.
Yeah,
just
slow down.
some kind of warning.
Yeah.
sign.
Okay.
You do have stops at the streets, that should be a definite for biking.
Right, I think there's
bikers.
one at North Street, and there's one
At Bandle.
down at O'Reilly Road.
Okay. Great,
All right, we got our stripping done.
all right.
Gotta keep it, fun and fresh.
Okay, fresh.
Have we heard anything on
You have
the
striping here.
kids that did the vandalism?
Yeah, this is somewhat unfortunate for you all. So I talked to the deputy today. He has not been able to get in contact with the person who destroyed the porta potty. He believes that he went up north to start school at Lake State. I think it's in the UP. And
Superior State,
is that what it's called?
yeah, I think so.
So I asked him, what he thought we should do, and he said, if you don't do anything, it's unlikely that we will be able to get in contact with him and, ask him to do community service.
Mhm.
In his opinion, it may not be a bad idea to charge him
Mhm.
or ask that charges are brought against him on behalf of the township.
Mhm.
And then at that point, if we go to court, we can say that we are looking for community service as the
You're right,
outcome.
you're right.
I think we have to do that.
I do too.
Yeah,
For the amount of money we had to spend, and so if he wants to make some sort of plea negotiation. And his parents want to reimburse the township for the cost of the porta potty, hey.
No, I just think, as a parent, your kid
Well,
did that, and that was gonna cost me $1,700 out of my own.
well, all right, the kids go to college, so
That's not-
obviously,
That's not a bad idea.
I
I think it's really important that there be consequences for the kids' sake. For the kids' sake.
and for our sake, because we wanna put one back in there.
right.
Mhm.
Did you, at one point, you said something about his family, is even living with his family or parents or?
I do not believe he was living with his family. Yeah, so the deputy did indicate that it's somewhat of a challenging home life for the,
For the kid,
for the person.
Well, fine, but he's
he
still
still
don't.
needs to show up in court.
mean,
I believe he's 18, he's 17 or
And
18.
this was and this is the second incident of vandalism we had over there.
He's also admitted to being the one that set the fireworks off previously.
Alright, so yeah.
And
Do
see,
you,
and he-
without giving anything away, if you don't have, you don't, not allowed to, how do you catch this kid?
Oh, God, I don't wanna,
If you don't, don't give anything away.
Maybe doing a
they,
reveal.
I mean, there was reports of his vehicle, that's how they did it, and they tracked the vehicle down. And it went from there, and I think. I don't exactly know how it happened, I don't know if the person was the one that, there was an accident on Blue Star Highway. And somehow this person was involved, either they were part of the accident, or they pulled off the side of the road, or they were the ones that called the police. But on scene, an officer recognized the car as the one he was looking for and identified the suspect.
Okay, wow, good
Alright,
police
so
work.
maybe you'll let us know next month what.
Yeah,
if
I mean,
we go ahead.
I
Yeah, do
agree.
you wanna make a motion on that? Or do you wanna
He
wait?
never came in here and said, I'm sorry, I didn't, he just
No.
admitted to the cop that he did it.
Yes,
And he never came here and talked to you or talked to us.
No.
Talked to anybody.
no, I did tell the deputy that that. What we were thinking is that this person like either come to a meeting and apologize, but definitely do community service. And if they were unwilling to do community service, then we would charge them for the cost of replacing the porta potty. But after I communicated that to the deputy was unable to get in contact with the person. So he's called multiple times, he stopped at the house he's staying at, and so nothing.
Yeah,
I would move that we recommend that the township explore prosecution of the destruction of township property.
So tell the deputy to press criminal charges.
yeah.
Okay,
Do you want that in the form of a motion, or is that not enough? Alright, so that's my motion.
We probably should vote on it. And I'll second it.
Yeah,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we should at least not let the kid completely walk away from it,
Yes.
mhm,
because I mean, if he had come in here or come into the township and said, hey, I'm sorry, I was screwing around and blah, blah, blah. But to not act at all.
well, now he's ducking,
now he's ducking.
Mm-hmm,
that's expensive.
Yeah, and we can relay whatever we want in court, we can say, hey, the outcome we're looking for is community service, or the outcome we're looking at is to. You know, be
Reimburse the
reimbursed.
voters
reimbursed,
for the
yeah,
taxpayers.
reimbursed for the
Yeah.
cost. Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
bench
Um,
order.
the bylaws update, this is just.
Oh, wait,
Wait, Jim,
Oh, I'm
Jim,
sorry.
we're all the way up
Oh.
here, we're on F,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
the bench order.
we got
Okay, I'm sorry, yeah.
third bench.
River Bluff, the update. Pat Denner, whose husband Mike was paralyzed and passed
Oh,
away from a biking accident. She ordered a new bench. Left her a message today and I didn't get here in time to check. I told her to come in. Lori's got the information from Alicia.
Yeah.
As far as the wording. And so all we need to get her to approve it. And then we sign it and send it in.
You know, we probably should call Alicia to see if we can get those two benches that we ordered in before the election day.
But you saw that thing that
Yeah, they've shortened the time
speeding
frame,
up by 6 weeks, so that would,
so that's good, it's pretty close.
yeah, I mean. Because what was the original date? Sometime in November, right?
Yeah, it was like late
So
November,
6
so if they
weeks.
could get us in
Get it here.
October,
Wow.
and let her know, because we're going up for a millage vote. That wouldn't hurt, there's another photo op for the parks to get paper.
Mm-hmm.
Where where these people who donated the two benches come in and stand next to their benches. And we put one in the dog park and one in River Bluff.
I've got her I've got the email, I'll just reply to her and ask her
All right,
as far as the
well,
dates.
you do it by email and I'll do it the old fashioned way, I'll just call and bug her.
Okay,
Okay. Great. And
okay.
Veterans Park
Sorry.
damage?
Yeah. So what happened to Veterans Park?
Oh, okay.
Somebody hit the shelter with their car.
Oh, that's right.
Smashed it. Maybe in the future, we wanna think of a big rock with a boulder on either side, so if somebody comes in, they hit the boulder. Just thought, just
That's a
thought.
good idea.
Well, so.
It's expensive. Boulders are expensive.
We have one in the front we can move.
Is that insurance company going to pay for it?
Nope, cause it came well in under the $2,500 deductible,
Well, didn't he?
or the whatever, whatever, you know what I'm talking about.
The townships go pay.
Copay, yeah, the limit.
And they didn't know, we don't know who did it. It was a hit and
No,
run.
it was a lot, yeah, I guess, no one knew.
No one knew who did it. It just suddenly
But they
somebody
must
said,
have put their car, they busted one.
Yeah. they said something's
Timber.
wrong with this. Yeah, okay. The veteran township damage,
And I think you said about $600.
I think it was $600, it might be a little more because Glenn went ahead and painted it. I didn't think he was going to, but he did.
Okay,
But we were able, I think it's an old structure. But we were able to match all the pieces, so it looks totally continuous, there's nothing out of place.
Did anybody go as spectators to see if there's a bunch of splinters and somebody?
I think it happened I think we didn't know about it for a few weeks.
Right.
Okay.
Like it was an old accident. so-
yeah, I stopped there to look at the bridge on the, across the street. And I think, I don't know whether anybody noticed it before I did. But it was a good size, that one timber there was busted and somebody hit it pretty hard. And, but, then they left or got just called a wrecker and.
Yeah, but I did file a police report just in case the damages were higher than $2,500, but they weren't.
okay,
Okay, and I did notice we got a $50 bill for lumber, but that's all we've gotten charged from Glenn so far for this, as far as I know. Okay. New business, so I put stuff from the stuff we just talked about, so the letter from the park commission. We
already did
talked
that.
about that.
it's on.
Press
the
release.
website.
We talked about that. The electric estimates. We
talked about that.
gave those to Elliot.
What? Oh, yes, okay, right, that's right. They ended up,
It's old and new.
yeah, it's old and new. It's in two places.
Yeah,
That's all right.
I ran these, I updated them, and then like I say, Lori was.
As you'll see it in a minute somewhere.
They didn't do a big job. The bylaws update, at our last meeting, or one of our last meetings, we voted to revise the bylaws and change our mission statement. And so that's what we did. And Lori updated it, so it's been updated and the bylaws are on our website. And I used the new mission statement in the letter. So I just wanted to get everybody up to date.
Yeah.
But we were gonna revisit those bylaws, right? Or have they been revised?
Yeah, she revised them.
Oh, she did?
Because we did vote. Remember
Okay.
when Dana had that, we voted on it, so we have revised them.
Okay,
And
You probably should revisit them again after this whole millage is over, because don't quote me on this, but I do believe you voted on something that a different manager helped compose, and they may not be consistent with Michigan state law.
Yeah.
As in,
Detail.
technically, I can do
I'm sure
everything.
Tudor Dixon will solve the problem.
I think they're written that says the manager does this and the manager, not in a good way.
not in a good way, right?
Because I remember that.
Oh, you do remember that, yeah, so.
Well, I know what you're saying.
So it might be worth revisiting.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah,
revisit.
you should revisit that, but I think we should wait till
After
after
the
the village.
Mhm.
right, and Becky Israel gave me a list, because before he left, we were gonna rewrite them to take some of the authority that we granted to him.
Yeah.
Because he wrote them.
Yeah.
And anyway. And the other thing that I think if the village passes, we may want to look at the number of people because suddenly there's gonna be a lot more work and we can increase our from 5 to 7.
Yes, you can.
And it might be, because we would have to establish connections with real estate agents and somebody check out property that might be available. A lot of other little things.
Yeah, like a nice raise.
We
Like
get
a raise.
we get a raise.
Raise for our
Or we
raise.
could hire one. I think we got a $25 raise.
You did get a $25 raise.
This year?
Yeah, per meeting, per meeting.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's all
And,
gravy. Okay, dog park fence repairs. Are you ready to move on to that, Jim?
Yeah, Ken and I, that's the last page. Ken and I went for a walk with Glenn. And I talked to him about the idea of putting a second fence in. And he looked at the quality of the fence that was there. He said, you know, the fence itself is good, it's the posts that are bad.
Mhm.
So his suggestion was they replace the post and fasten the existing fence to that. And make sure there's some places that where it doesn't, you know, isn't tight to the ground and do that kind of stuff. And he gave us a $1,600 estimate for that. And that's a lot less than if we went ahead and put a second fence in there. And it might be just as effective. When we went through. So you're the dog park guy. Do you have thoughts on that?
What about that roll of chain link that's laying on the ground?
You know, I think what happened is when the dog park was built, which I think was around 2008 or something like that. I think people donated a lot of that fencing. So I think that big roll that's laying, that's just left over from what was donated. It's a solid galvanized fence. The fence itself it's not bad.
Additionally, I have a thought about the idea of removing the small dog area and incorporating that into the big dog area. There are still several people, a lot of people who come and use that section. And wondering if that's going to, I don't know, if I had a small dog and I knew I could bring him there. Apart from section where we got dogs that are pretty big, can be pretty big. We're not gonna alienate some people. I don't think we want.
Were we going to remove, did I miss that? Were we gonna take out
Well-
the separation and just make one big park?
The thing we talked about is there's actually a third area that's really overgrown. And when it originally was set up, the idea was someone could sort of reserve it for a dog's play day or something. So 3 or 4 people with dogs or friends or whatever could sort of reserve that. And that's set far back, that second fence, you know, and there's actually that narrow entrance that goes back to that, but it's never used. So we talked about opening that fence up and trying to clean up, make the small dog area bigger. Is that a better idea?
I think so,
Okay,
honestly. Separating, that separating fence from the big and the small, I really think it ought to stay.
yeah,
I really do.
okay. So
And I
this,
know there was some complaints about Thorny Grove or something.
Is that still there?
I don't know.
Okay, cause I did get a call about that,
Did you
yes.
recently?
Well, they were calling to complain about, Schultz Park Dog Park, and I was like, well, that's Douglas. And the person said that they no longer come to Tails and Trails because their little dog got all those burrs in its fur. And they didn't, and I didn't know, I knew that it was a topic of conversation, but I didn't know if it had been cleaned up yet.
I don't know.
No, that was one of the things we talked about with Glenn, that, you were, I think, we have a contract, or you were gonna let me know who has the contract to do that. grass cutting over there?
I think it's GMS.
And do we want to maybe put that back out for bid? 'Cause that was one of the complaints is that, we have some overgrown areas that if you had, Glenn, if you had him cutting it, that if you cut it every week, you wouldn't have that type of overgrown area. It's just sloppy work on their part.
I've actually gone in with head clipper. And in the wooded area. Cause there's parts of the walk that these vines, these grapevines are tenacious. I mean, they grow everywhere very quickly. So I've been cutting those back. I think when the leaves fall, I'm gonna go in, these are vines. That
Right.
go in and
I
they
think it's
kill
an
everything.
invasive species.
I'm gonna go back there and just chop the vines. And save the trees, because they kill the trees, because they block all the sunlight.
Yeah. Just make sure it's not poison ivy one.
Oh, I've got, yeah, I know that. In here.
Get rid of that.
I haven't been, this is my second year here and I've gone through 3 bouts of it.
Have you really? Wow.
But my yard's getting cleaned out.
You need goats.
At a river. Yeah, that's the thing, the guy that does the cemetery, does the dog park, the mowing, Glenn does the maintenance out there. I don't know how long ago that arrangement was set up.
I don't know if there is actually a contract, so we could put it up for bid, like they do the hall, they do the office. Like our
So why don't we think about doing that, as part of our winter, we'll leave what we have for the rest of this year, but for spring, you might wanna, see if you wanna go out for a bid on that, make the two of them work against each other.
Yeah, that gives me some time to.
But yeah, one Sunday, Stacy called me, she saw it on Facebook. And somebody put a nasty thing on Facebook that my dog got sanded. And so some of the regular guys there said, you come to a park, your dog, if you don't,
There's a big sign when you walk in that says, you're on your own, basically. Right, this is a wild area.
That's
It's not a golf course.
right.
It's not
I did go
park.
out with a shovel and a
Commercial
bucket.
Park, dog park is nothing, it is just small fenced in area next to the freeway.
Yeah.
And there's, I think a picnic table.
But the Sandberg dude, I mean, I did it with a shovel and a bucket one time and spent an hour going digging it up. Because you can't really tell if it's Sandberg until there's, that flat bladed grass. And a lot of it lays close to the ground. And so you mow it. And I mean, I haven't come up my yard and I won't really go after them. But that's something. I would be willing to go out there, get and just walk around.
Yeah, I would too. There's there's shovels in the.
Yeah.
Did we vote to approve the fence update then? Did you discuss
I don't
it?
think there's any, unless we have to vote for the money, we have to vote the approval of the 1665 for the dog park, it's not fence repair.
Are you guys okay with this idea of telling Glenn to go ahead, get these posts and this fall, doing this fence project? I mean, we put quite a bit of money in actually in the budget for the fence.
Yeah, this is way under what we thought this was gonna cost us.
Yeah, right, it's,
I'll move to approve.
okay, I'll second it. Okay.
I support, okay. And then what about,
Oh, we gotta call vote.
I thought, well, he said, he voted already.
Oh,
We already voted.
he voted.
Yeah. Aye.
All right,
Okay.
good.
So I had here in my notes, we considered putting out the mowing bid for what, for all the parks or for what are we talking
I
about?
think we're just doing the dog park,
For the dog park,
because Glenn does River Bluff. And
I see,
we're happy with that.
yeah, so we're thinking maybe Glenn should be doing both of
Yeah,
those
well-
instead, the person who's doing, okay,
And because Glenn does maintenance at the dog park, we call Glenn to cut limbs off or.
Yeah, that makes
when
sense.
the
Why not
tree
just
falls
have him?
down, fix that back gate that had been busted. So he does a lot of stuff there. We might as well let him mow too.
Well, we'll let Daniel handle that, cause that should probably be something that we have a contract, we
talk-
put it
Yes.
in writing and.
Because
I had put that we consider putting out for bid in the spring. Do we want to just?
Yes.
Is
I
that
think
good?
we'll do, yes.
Okay.
And because Lori, she talked positively, I forget the guy's name that runs that GL.
I mean, they do a great job at the cemeteries. We have zero problem with the cemeteries, but we do feel that sometimes the office site gets overlooked.
Yeah,
And I think that you all feel that sometimes the dog park gets overlooked, so. I don't think we have any intention of changing anything for the cemeteries, but we don't have a contract for the office.
right.
And I would put that out for bid, you know, to see if anyone else would bid on
If
it.
Glenn wants to pick it up and if this guy wants to pick it up.
And you know, a month ago, the dog park was, I mean, it looked like it hadn't been cut for
Yeah.
a month
6
or
weeks,
a
easy.
month and a
Yeah.
half or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that and then, when I have some little free time, when I get back from this little trip, I'll go out and walk around the small dog area and dig up the sandburs that are out there. Okay,
The Whitetail washout, we spoke before, but I'm putting it here in the minutes actually, so it was completed.
Previously discussed and actions have been taken.
No, I mean, no, I don't know if I have that here, so I just want to put it in, this is where it'll be, so I just need, so the bike trail washout was completed, repair was completed. And I think, yeah, was completed.
and I can't remember the bid for that, but it's done. It was pretty reasonable.
And it was.
I didn't see it.
It was Glenn,
Whatever Dana and Glenn worked out, because
Okay.
the guy that Dana was gonna be talking to a contractor or something. He said, talking to Glenn, that was a much better deal right away.
okay,
Okay. So the last item is a special meeting. Do you believe we need some kind of get together before our October meeting? What's the?
I think as long as we have contact between ourselves and the committee, I think we're good. Because the main thing is to get Glenn working at the trail, get in the paper. You have the stuff you're posting. And it sounds like we can't get a decent date anyway between us because different availability.
You know, between Chris and you two guys, Daniel, you guys will hold some kind of meeting together or individual.
Yeah, we should all get together and kind of brainstorm a little and see what we can do.
on
Just
the,
two of us can meet
yes,
with you at any time.
yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
We'll
yeah, I'm gonna be
follow
out of town,
maybe.
so you go ahead and meet and let me know what you decide,
Okay, we'll tell you what to do.
all right.
And then I'll be out of town for 2 weeks.
He
Yeah,
says,
tell me the dates.
I leave on September 20th and then I will be back on Monday, October 3rd. I'll be in the office on October 3rd.
You're gonna have a stack of stuff.
But I won't care. I know.
Where you going?
Italy.
Oh,
Look
your
at this.
passport over.
What?
You have your passport.
I have my passport ready. It is valid.
you got the flight that's really gonna go,
Yeah,
that's the tricky part.
I know, I hope so. Yeah,
I have heard that I haven't finally found is because my son-in-law in Grand Rapids said he made an appointment for the 19th.
mhm.
So if that be pretty good.
Maybe.
If it's sick.
Yeah, we need to get sick.
Okay,
Okay,
commissioners reports, do we have anything else? I think I told you I put the signs at Riverbrook. And Harville, is there any update on?
I spoke with my vet, the dog's vet, specifically about that. And they told me that in a way, it's like older and younger people. very young dogs, very old dogs are more susceptible. But any dog that's been vaccinated for parvo, they have not seen any dogs come in with this particular strain or whatever it is. So, and I have my dog there almost every day. You know. They all drink from the same damn bowl. And nothing.
So probably it's a little overreaction to whatever it is. Anything else, any other reports on any? Okay.
Oh, and just a quick question about when these benches come in, are the places where they're going to be put determined, and who's going to put them in and all that stuff?
The one lady who cannot get around very well, and I can't remember her name, I'd have to go back and look.
Arlene,
Yeah, I think so. She wanted it, it's down by the riverbank or someplace a riverbank. Because we had talked, I had talked to her about going down there. She said, well, I don't get around very well, and how hard is it to get down there and so forth. And so that's a one location that I remember. I don't know if the other person.
Well, let's wait till the bench comes in. I would say if it's only gonna be one or two benches at a time, since we're going to use that really rising ground that we can put them together. They don't take that long.
If it went down by the river, we'd have to take it down in parts. Put it somewhere down there.
Meet you at Schultz Park, back up the truck, put it in the boat.
Put it in the boat. Yeah, well, that's not.
What I'm picturing
all
is
river
the
block.
first park bench. Just, look over the dock, you'll see it down there.
No, you see that.
6 feet underwater.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Riverbluff Park. The water's only about that deep.
The first one will be in the muck off the dock, okay.
You'll be sitting at, your feet will get wet, but your buns will be okay.
Yeah, okay.
Ye of little faith.
No, I think you're gonna do a great job.
Okay. Anything else?
only that we, and I know I sent this in the email, that we did get conditional commitment from MDOT for the TAP grant. So that we're looking at a funding year 2025, possibly 2024, if we can, knock off their conditions. But I mean, eventually you'll have access to Amalancher Park.
Yeah.
So there will be the trail going through Amalancher up to 66 and then cutting over.
So they're gonna go, they would go on that road that goes north towards, instead of going on the east side, they would go on the west side of that road.
Of 66th Street. So yeah, so it would cut through Amalancher Park and go to the very end and up that hill. And then instead of going down 66 towards Holland on the cemetery side, which is the east side of the road, it would go on the opposite side on the west, which is in front of private property,
Yeah.
but it'd be in the right of way.
That's the sad part, is that ocean has built right up, they've got a bunch of trees and stuff right up to the road.
Yeah, there's gonna be, I mean, some of that's gonna have to be removed. They said absolutely not would they ever fund the project if we insisted that it go on the cemetery side, because they don't want any situation in which they dig up the body. And the reality is it's a historic cemetery, and we're very well aware that things are not always recorded
Yeah.
accurately. So it's quite possible that that could happen.
So you're thinking maybe 2024, probably 2025.
Maybe 2024, definitely 2025.
Well, if the village passes, we're gonna have plenty of money to develop.
You would, you really would.
Would you like a motion to adjourn?
Okay. All in favor?
Right.
Let me know what the thoughts.
At 6:45.
Alright, we shutting this down.
Okay. So